when you are giving a role as an exec, you should actually work like a senior exec. When you are a senior exec, you should work like a manager. So why is that so? Is because then you can actually prove to your peers, prove to your superior that you deserve to hold more responsibility and you can deliver more than what your role should be.
Hi, Joey.
Hello, Phoebe.
You know, the first time when I first met you, right, I was very nervous because of your...
I love fears.
No, because of your position, because of your title. And I always had that impression that corporate people were kind of intimidating. But then after working with you for a while, I realized you are very warm. You're very approachable. Especially when I went to your company events, I saw how hands-on you were and then the way you interact with your colleague, and you would always make sure to come to talk to me. And even though you didn't have time, you would text me afterward and say, thank you for coming. So have you always been like that, or was it something that you had to grow into when you take on more leadership roles?
I do think that, to be more approachable is something like more welcoming, when you get to know new people and it just work, it doesn't need to be so fierce, so stressed, like sometimes can be more friendly and then more fun.
Yeah.
So that's why I realized that, being Gen Y, so we want to work with a leader which are more, less scary, you're willing to share more. So if I look myself, I also hope that, when people look at me, they will also find me more approachable. So that's why I felt like instead of, set the bar to be like, oh, who am I? And then you're not supposed to come close to me, so on. So I felt like to present myself in a more warm and approachable way would be better. But most of the time, people look at me, for the first impression, they will say like, wow, this one is like poker face, very fierce. It's because when I work, especially when I'm running event, then, I will wear different masks. I will make sure that things are all smooth. All are, we need a lot of rehearsal and so on. Make sure I feel secure, I feel comfortable, the things are going smooth. Then I will have a smile. If not, then I will look a bit tense. Yeah.
But how do you balance it? Like when you are at work, still you don't want people to see you as a very scary person. How do you balance that?
So that's why I have to explain to you after that.
Okay.
So let's say I do consider myself quite a good observer. So if I notice that, people are surrounding me, but I don't get a chance to say hi, I can't actually greet them. And what I do is, prior to that, I'll make sure my other colleagues will help me to entertain the guests that we invite. And then, of course, subsequently, I'll then explain to them, when I'm work, I will be like this.
Like this, okay.
But after that, don't get me wrong, I'm actually quite okay.
So
it's just that I need to focus on my job first. Then when I have the time, then we will mingle around. If not, then I will talk to you next time when we meet. Yeah, so people who gets to know me, then they will know, oh, this is Joey at work.
Yeah.
But if Joey at the leisure time, you'll see another crazy me.
Right. Because I realized, when you were at work where we talk about what, you'll be more straightforward. So say what you want and this and that.
Correct.
But that's after working with you for a while, then I kind of know like your style. So I get more comfortable already. So throughout your leadership journey, was there anyone or someone that inspired you along the way?
In my belief, not everyone's are born naturally to be a great leader. So along the way, we learn how to be a leader. So I was fortunate enough, since young, I was given a chance to be like a class rep, prefect, librarian, so many roles. So, since young, you don't even know about what is the whole process to be and how to monitor people, how to manage people. But when you are giving that task, that responsibility with someone who guides you, your seniors or your teachers, then you realize that, okay, when you are giving a role, then you need to behave. You need to make sure you behave, then you will be able to manage other classmates. When everyone's are crazy with talking, chit-chatting, and you have to act like you're a class rep.
Okay.
You need to be the role model.
Right.
So maybe because of that, since young, I was a bit less fun, more, a lot of principle that controls me. I couldn't actually go wild, just like other of my friends. But that gives me a gist of how to be a leader, the rep. Yeah. So then after that, of course, I would say my parents definitely will be the first leader that inspired me. When since young they don't really have that opportunity to learn more, to even attend for like uni, college. So they are less fortunate about it. But doesn't mean that they don't find their way of make their living. So they are still very successful, from a small village come to KL and set up their own, mini chain store, selling groceries and so on. So they're also doing very well. And they can actually pay for 4 of us, my sibling, for our study, even like for me until uni. So that is something that it makes me feel very inspired also. Like you doesn't need to be someone very great, very educated since young. But so long as you know what you need to do and you have your goal, your dream, and you work towards it, then when you make it happen, it sounds very great. You may not be a master, but you have a children which is a master holder. Then it sounds like so great, So then, of course, when I go for study and so on, then different level, the teachers plays different role to teach me different things. So they also, give me different roles, like I mentioned, prefect, class rep and all this. So even though they say, I'm like afraid of a lot of things, I try to stay away from crowds and so on, but they still give me the role because they want me to improve myself.
Right.
So I think luckily I was given that opportunity. Otherwise, then I will be much more introvert. So then, of course, when I start to work, then I will also have someone who actually, like a mentor to tell me that, sometimes when you are giving a role as an exec, and you should actually work like a senior exec. When you are a senior exec, you should work like a manager. So why is that so? Is because then you can actually prove to your peers, prove to your superior that you deserve to hold more responsibility and you can deliver more than what your role should be. So that makes me feel like, maybe it's because of all this, it slowly give me the opportunity, build up my leadership skills along the way. Yeah.
So would you say that piece of advice that you just mentioned, if you are an exec, act like a senior exec, would you say this is a code that pretty much changed like how you handle your leadership role?
Yeah, I would say definitely it plays a part. And whenever I get a chance to speak to someone, during interview sessions, when I first meet them, I find them a bit lost, especially nowadays, the young one, they have no idea. They come here with their cert, their qualifications, and they think that they deserve to certain role. But in fact, they do not know how to sell themselves.
Okay.
That I entitled to this role, I should ask for this pay. So there's a lot of things that they are very calculative in a way. How we see them, it's like, you ask for this pay, but you do not want to do the job. Yeah, so or you will judge by telling me what is my JD, my job scope. Then justify how much should my salary will be, So I always advise them, at this world, so many people are also looking for a job. So when you are new, when you have no working experience, so you really need to prove yourself first. It's not about asking for pay, but you should prove yourself, and one day you can then bargain on the pay, So this is the piece of advice that I give to them, and I wish that, this can be passed on to different people that I get to know. Yeah, even though it's just like, maybe I only see them once, and I don't get to work with them. So, but I still feel like whoever I find it, I can click with them.
Right.
I feel that they deserve to hear this as well, because this is how it inspired me, and I hope that I can also give it to them.
I think also when I first interview for a job as well, like when you don't have much experience from before, I think a lot of people would be worried, like, but I don't have experience with the company. hire me? Like am I qualified for this? So as a leader, when you interview someone, what are the first qualities that you see? Of course, would you say like the resume is the first thing that you look at, of course, to bypass the right people? What are the other qualities that you are looking for?
Definitely is the personality. So, along the way, my interview session sometimes can be quite long. I'm not sure is that considered long, but usually it will take up to like 1.5 hours for just a candidate, because if just 30 minutes or 40 minutes is very limited for me to understand. So usually along the way, I will need to see how they express themselves. When you don't even know how to sell yourself, then put aside like you have no experience and we don't want to talk about, the package and so on, then what else are they that I should appoint you or I should recruit you instead of others? So you must make sure that you express yourself, how different, how unique you are.
Okay.
So even though you do not have any working experience, my approach, for example, if I were to work for optical, so I must be able to express, like, if I were to be a marketing for this optical business, I must make sure that I bring out what are the needs and wants, the desire of an optical wearer. If they are not optical wearer also, how to make sure that they come to you as well, like because they will have their peers, their families who are wearing glasses. So then how do you reach out to this group of people? So you must be able to express it and show how knowledgeable you are in terms of
helping the company.
Yeah, how to drive the crowd and so on. So related to that topic, related to that job scope. Even though you never worked for that industry before, but as long as you're able to express
Prove
that
yourself.
So as long as you are given a chance to hands-on and then to learn from your peers, then you will be able to catch up faster. Yeah, so I think that is very important.
Right.
So which means that communication skill.
Communication character.
Correct.
Also.
So if you have a lot of thoughts in your mind, great ideas, but you do not know how to express and spell it out. So it also fail, people can't read your mind.
Right.
You saying anything.
So I guess nowadays communication skill is really important in really proving and expressing yourself. I also know you have masters in consumer behavior. How has that influenced your work in marketing or the way you lead your team?
Actually, study master was not my intention. When I finished my degree, I told myself, okay, let's work for 2 years and then I'll pursue master. But after a while, then you feel tired. Whoa, working is, work in a corporate world is very, very different when you compare to when you study, So I actually quit the idea. But subsequently, my company was giving me another opportunity and asked me, like, why not? I pay you for a master. So would you want to take up the opportunity? So I was like, okay, why not? So it's like after about 8 or 9 years of working, then I say, okay, I should actually try and strive for, a breakthrough. So I hope that through the masterclass, I can also, learn something new so that I have more things to share.
Right.
So then I pick up the challenge. When I do my final paper, so I pick up the topic on consumer behavior.
Right.
It's because I know that, everyone's a human being and then you have your own emotion. So to buy things, to say a single word, all comes with emotion. So sometimes, girls always say that when we stress, then let's go shopping.
Yeah, that's me.
You will make wrong decisions. You will just scroll on all this marketplace platform and then add to cart and then just pay. And then at the end, when you receive the parcel, you are not sure why you want to buy. Right? There's no purpose, so you leave it aside or you donate. But this is how emotions play a role. So when it comes to marketing or leadership, I do think that, psychology, all these behaviors are very, is a crucial part for us to get to know that person better so that we can actually lead them or mingle around with them. So like me, I don't have my team members who are slightly, elder than me. They are also a bunch of them younger than me. So, how do I find a balance then? So I will also need to make sure that, based on observations, let's listen to what they say. Usually, like without my involvement, then let's see what they are doing out there, When they are with other peers, they will be more cheerful, When I step out and then they were all quiet, but through the way what food they eat, what are the postings they post on social media, they're sharing, and so on. So we get to know them better. So we find the common ground, the common language to speak to them. Then they will feel like, wow, okay, you kind of know me, or
Right.
you are not like always just act like a manager, but I can speak to you like a friend.
Like a friend, right?
Yeah, so I think psychological plays a part. So a lot of people thought that consumer behavior is just to target consumers. Yeah, but they do not know that actually your friends and family, you can also apply this consumer behavior. Your bosses, even your outside world, anyone that you deal with. Yeah, so someone's that you only met them first time, whether or not is it for work or for, personal life and so on, or you bump into someone when you are hop around, when you're shopping. So all this plays a part. When someone's are suffering and you see them like struggle, standing there and do not know what to do. So maybe they are struggle with maybe they are stuck at the payment page, or somewhat.
Right.
So when you're standing at the back, you shouldn't stress them. Or if I were to be the one at the cashier, then I might do something else to comfort them, but also comfort the rest when they are on queue. There are a lot of small little things that is related to all this psychology or consider as a behavior. So I find it very, very interesting to get to know someone, without speak much about them, without knowing where they grown, what courses they study in the past, they got how many siblings and so on. But we can also know how to interact with that person.
Okay.
Yeah, so I find it very, very interesting.
Yeah, I just want to go back to the point where, like you say, as a leader, and then you have your colleagues, your team who are older than you, who are younger than you, and especially for those who are older than you. And as the young leader, how do you communicate with them and kind of justify yourself, like, oh, I'm younger than you, but because sometimes older colleagues, they might think that I know better than you, you're younger than me. Why should I listen to you? So how do you approach that?
So a disclaimer, they are not that old. It's just that, few years elder than me. So like I said, we have to be, just now you mentioned about approachable. So that is the strategy that I apply, that I must make sure I also hands-on work together with them and show them that whatever you do, I can do as well. Whatever you are good in, I can also do so.
Okay.
So for instance, like I do video shooting and editing. So I always, while having meetings or whatnot, when I go for on ground, when shooting and all this, sometimes I will do by myself. So of course, not a very professional, but I will try to prove that, I know what it means by getting the right angle. And I know what it means by, editing, to use transitions, some technical words, so that how to insert video, audio, how to actually, noise cancellation, so on. So that whenever I speak to my peers or speak to the videographer, they will be more willing to work with me. Because they know that, you are not just someone who pay for it only. You know the essence.
So you speak their language.
Correct. So then they will know that, okay, I won't simply ask you to edit and render, because rendering, it costs a lot of time.
Yep.
So then they will find it like, oh, you know my pain. Like rushing me to trim the video is not something is going to work. So that's why sometimes when you show people the empathy, as well as you can justify by telling them, on behalf of the company, I wish this thing we can do it fast. But at the same time, I also know what are the processes that you will need to go through in order to get the deliverables that I want. So no rush, because the more you rush, you will make more mistakes. But please do it in this way, So I will also share them like how to guide them okay, I want this part to be like this. I want the opener, the ending to be like this. So you save your time for keep editing. So then they will find it like, okay,
You understand?
yeah, at least I'm more willing to work on it. So I think that is the way how I do, avoid the gap between someone who are older than me or even younger than me. Just need to know their language. Try to stand on their shoe, to understand, okay, their role also a bit difficult. They also have their limitations.
Show empathy.
Yeah, so that is very important. And most important also comes back to communication. Really need to talk, express to them that you know their pain,
Right.
but we really need to get it done soon.
Yeah.
But sharing that I also have my own duty, my role, and then you also have your task to do. So how do we find the best way?
Right.
Yeah, to
work
this.
work together.
Yes, then it will be a better result, more effective.
I think it's really important, like what you say, knowing their language, like the technical language, like what you say, noise reduction and stuff like that. It really facilitate the whole process. That's to avoid not just like, oh, you understand what I do, but it's also to avoid to avoid delay. Let's say I say this thing, but I actually meant this thing, so that the whole communication become like complicated, and then there's cause a lot of delay. So really understanding their language, and that's why also people would respect you. Oh, you know the technical terms, you know how to communicate me.
Yeah, so they won't think that, okay, you are just fortunate to hold this title, but in fact, you do not have that skill. You do not have that ability. So we need to make sure we show and prove ourselves to them.
Right.
So sometimes, it's not about them have to show to you their strength. We also have to show to them that I can also do all this work. It's just that with now the managerial role that I need to, I have more things to do. I need to do more on strategy, planning, and so on. So I can't do what you all should do.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean that I do not know how to do it. Yeah, so during the events, we will be try to, I also carry boxes, together with them and so on, just to show them that, when comes to event, comes to certain things, there's no, level or this hierarchy.
We are the same.
We are the same because I just want to make sure everything's
we have the same goal is to make this.
It's just
good.
not about like, we are running out of time already and I still standing there. Do nothing and just use my mouth, to instruct them.
Do this.
Yeah. So I don't think the younger generations would love to be like this. Just seem like me. I do not wish someone treat me like that. So I must make sure that whatever I do not like, I must tell myself that I should avoid. Of course, I'm not a perfect person where I am as great as what I expressed just now, but I'll try to make less mistake, try to take care of their feeling. If I were to, accidentally offend them or somewhat, then after event, I will actually just apologize, if there's any moment that I make you feel bad. Then
apologize.
I'm sorry for that, but I don't mean it. It's just that when we are rushing and all this, I cannot just like still, make it fun, joking in front of everyone. So work and play, we will balance.
Find a balance lah. Did you mind sharing what was a mistake that you made that you kind of, I shouldn't have done that?
Most of the time, maybe the earlier stage of me, now still partial, I'm not the person who can trust people easily. Or I will delegate the task to every single people. It's because I realized that, if I delegate to this person, maybe they will take longer time to complete it. Why not I do it by myself? Yeah. So, or I will suspect whether they can deliver to me on time or not. So the trust level is not there, especially when they are new, especially in the past they make certain mistake and I will even hold back, like, okay, I might not assign so many tasks to you because I'm afraid that you will ruin the whole thing.
You don't meet my expectation.
Correct. Or like I said, always show them a poker face, So then I realized, some of them actually emotionally affected. So it's either they felt like, because you doesn't want to assign me more tasks, that's why I cannot grow myself.
Right.
I don't have career advancement, I don't have personal growth, and I can't have the opportunity to prove myself. So then the other one will be like feeling that, oh, okay, you always show me the poker face, but whenever you speak to someone else and then you always put a real
Smiley
more
face.
happy face. So am I like not your
Do you not like
favor?
me? Yeah.
Yeah, so is it that whatever I do, you also like dislike me? So then I realized that, okay, so through observations, I realized things are not doing well. So what do is I will then call on a one-on-one session
Oh.
to just ask them, recently how you feel about work. Is there any stress or any obstacles you face?
Right.
And then I will also share them that what I observe, I realize that, okay, I might say something or I might behave in a way that is not something you feel comfortable with. So then I will also admit, my problem. I will also share with them
Right.
what's going on. Maybe the last few days, I'm a bit sad with certain things. I have my personal things that bothering me. That's why I couldn't be that energetic every day. So I also need to explain to them that I'm just like a normal human being.
Yeah, I also have emotions.
Correct. I also have my emotions while managing your emotions.
Yep.
No one will care about me and I have to digest by myself.
Yep.
So I have to always express and let them know that, I also have my part.
Yeah.
I need to, I don't expect you all to come and comfort me, but give me some me time, give me some distance. Whenever I'm fine, you come to me, I can give you a good piece of advice. But when it's not the right time, the moment you come to me, maybe my sharing or my advice are not as great as when I'm in a good emotion. Yeah. So I always tell them that, don't get me wrong. Yeah.
So you always clarify
over
that.
the time, then they get to use it already. They know that, okay, whenever I WhatsApp you, you don't reply. Maybe you're not at the right time. Whenever I email you, you are not responding. Maybe you are busy with other things and it's not the right time for you to revert to me. So then they will find their way. It's like the timeline is approaching. But you find your way to reply me, please. So that is something that I find it a bit sad, for my team. Sometimes they also need to manage me, they just need to do their work.
But I think it's good, so you clarify ahead of time, you tell them how you feel so it doesn't get personal. So they will see it as, oh, it's not she doesn't like me, it's just she has something going on. So if she doesn't reply, I'll get a way to get her to reply if the timeline is tight. So there's nothing personal there. It's like, oh, maybe she doesn't like me, she hates me, blah, 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 stuff like that. I think it's good that you clarify.
And because of this, then we can talk more about, okay, what I'm not satisfied with, the quality of work, then we can exchange the ideas. I can also share with them what are the other workaround that you can, fix it so that you don't continue make mistakes and so on. So it's just not like point out what they do wrong.
Right.
But also guide them. Maybe sometimes they are a bit clueless. They just do not know how to be better. So maybe they already spent so many years of doing the similar thing again and again. So they are a bit lost, stuck there, right? So we always learn, stuck in the middle. Yeah, so that's why if I think a good leader, or I wish I am a leader where it's not about just giving a task, assign a task. We are just work, you and me. You are just Isaac and me as a manager, but more of like, okay, I hear you, I observe you, and I know that there's something that you can grow better. So I give you more opportunity to have a chance to show your strength. But also at the same time, when I realize you have certain weaknesses, I shouldn't hide and assume that I don't see it. I have to also voice it out in a nice way so that they don't feel offended. But really tell them that, if you can fix this part, you will be even greater.
So it's a constructive comment. It's not something, not to attack them. It's to let them know, hey, I think you can do better.
I wish I can, but there are certain people really very stubborn, and you really need to be like strict to the point.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, if you are a bit like rounding here and there, right? So they don't really get what you mean. So you have to see different characters.
That's why the consumer
understand
behavior
them.
comes in.
Exactly, because sometimes you are, running again here and there, right?
Indirectly.
Yeah, indirectly. So they kind of like misunderstand what you are trying to say. So there are certain people who need more clear instructions. Then we do it that way. But there are certain people, they a bit hate instructions. Like, why can't I chip in my suggestions?
Right.
I also have my recommendations. Why you always ban my idea?
Yeah.
So with that kind of characters, then I will always say that, okay, let's not just briefly say about it. You show me your proposal. You tell me, assuming you are me, then you plan the whole thing. You tell me how you are going to execute. What is the budget that you think that is reasonable? And this proposal is something that our managements will say yes to. So you go through with me. If you can't convince me, then there's no point. Yeah, but if you can convince me, then I will bring your proposal to the next level to ask for approval. So everyone has the chance. It's just that whether you're willing to do so or not. Yeah, because when we give the opportunity, there are a lot of them will just say, no, it's okay.
Yeah,
I'll just do whatever you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are someone who are more keen to take up the challenge. Then we should actually give them the opportunity. Yeah.
Some people just like, I don't want to do extra work. What if it gets rejected? Then I wasted all my time just to work on that.
Exactly.
But other people is like, it's okay. I'm willing to take the challenge and then, try it out. Never try, never know. What if it gets approved?
Yeah, correct. So I do think that, everyone's can deserve to be a leader. It's just whether you want to be or not. Yeah, there's a lot of people refuse to be promoted to be a manager because they do not want to manage people.
Oh, okay.
They just know that they do their work great. So they just ask you, if you like my work, just increase my pay. That's it. But you don't promote me because I'm not good in managing others. I'm good with what I'm do, but I do not want to hold more responsibility. But there are another group of people who always wanted to prove themselves. So that's why I feel like it's whether you want to be a leader or not. Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong.
There's no right or wrong because for us, we gone through every single step. And I'm not too proud to say that I am a good leader right now. I'm still learning. Yeah, learning from, my bosses, learning from my other superior, or even my peers, all are managers. So we are still learning from them, see how they manage their people. Yeah. Also like you, see how you manage your team, then we can exchange idea, we can explore. So by knowing that how to manage different age group of team members is very important.
One thing I really want to mention about working with you is something that you make me feel very warm and touched. Is every time after a project, you would always say, thank you so much for your great work. I really appreciate that. I mean, of course, to you, it's just like, oh yeah, it's a nice gesture. But to the person who is receiving it, it means a lot. It means a lot. It's like, oh, she appreciates my work. And then you feel more, I don't know, you just feel more pumped, and I just like, wow, I like working with Joey. It's like, wow, I think when someone makes you feel good, it's just like all the extra work that even like if I go above and beyond, I feel like it's worth it. I like it because I feel like she appreciates me, so I want to do more, I want to prove more like that.
Perhaps I realize that you need some encouragement. You are a person who, maybe at that time you just started your business, you told me, and I do think that you need some encouragement. You need some acknowledgement. Sometimes we shouldn't be good with all this good words. Yeah. So there are certain people need acknowledgement. I do see a group of people, they doesn't mind whether you pay them a lot or not, but you must acknowledge they do good work. When they are doing bad, yes, you can comment. But when they do good, you should also acknowledge. Sometimes just a few nice words, it means a lot to certain people. Yeah, so when they are happy, imagine then when they go back home, their family also happy, their spouse also happy.
Yeah.
Then things will get a lot better.
Yeah.
So I also wish that I could be a person where, like, yeah, salary, I'm not the one who pay you. But I hope that at least emotionally, every day when you go home, you feel satisfied. To some extent. Because it's not that common to have all these moments, because when we are work, it's very stressful. So whenever you have a moment that you should, acknowledge someone, let's just do it.
I think I want to go back a little bit to talk about delegation. Like, because you were saying that it's hard in the beginning for you to pass work to someone because you worry they're still new, they cannot meet your expectation. So I think this is something that I'm trying to learn to delegate. Like, how do you, give them the opportunity, but also achieve the result that you want? Like, how do you balance that?
Sometimes at our level, there's a lot of things that we can't tell them every single thing. For example, what is your total budgets that you can spend on? What are the strategy that you with other business partners and so on? Because all this is with agreement, maybe they are P&C. We know that the fact is your staff can leave you anytime. Don't you think so? It's like they can just, whenever they feel not happy with it or they get better offer, they will just tender. In 1 month, 2 months, and then they can leave the company. So there's a lot of things that I do not wish they know, because nowadays a lot of them will actually easily find a job with someone which are in a similar industry. Because people find it that you have relevant working experience. So in my point of view is marketing, we have a lot of strategy. We have a lot of secret.
Yep.
And we have to work in advance, perhaps a quarter or half a year ahead.
Right.
So if you share too much with your team, you worry about this. That's a risk. But if you don't share, then how they help you?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
how?
I always struggle. So end up, I will work a lot on my own. Then I will suffer. I will lose my me time, and so on. So I realized that if that's the case, then let's appoint 1 or 2, or if you could, 2 or 3 of them where you trust them. And you tell them that I can see how far you can go with the company. If you can, contribute more, if you can change the way how you work, change the way how you behave, so then perhaps I can give you more roles, give you more authority. So when they feel that, okay, at least that I was not being promoted yet, but at least my managers see me having this potential. And that's the word saying that, when you are exec, work like a senior exec. So hopefully when they are senior exec, they also thought that maybe one day I have an opportunity to be a manager. So let's prove to her. Let's prove to the managements that I can do so. And I can keep the secret. Yeah, so no matter what, there is a risk, So it's just that maybe we have to really find the right person to also assist you.
So I guess it's also like try and error. You gotta work first and then find out whether it's the right person or not.
Every single day, we face them more than we face our family member.
True. We see them every day.
Yeah, so I wake up at 6, by the time I go back home, it's already like 8 or 9 at night. So to be honest, I spend more time with my colleagues than
More than family.
Yeah, so we should have sufficient of time if we observe them and if we mingle around with them, we should know them well.
Right.
And you should be able to tell, are they a good player or not, a good team player or not. Yeah,
Just
so
through everyday
if you
conversation.
couldn't find any of this character, that means this person haven't existed yet. Then perhaps you should consider recruit someone new. Find someone that slowly they can be the next persons that you can work with.
For you as a leader, as a manager, there are so many people you need to handle. I mean, working at the largest optical chain in Malaysia, it comes with a lot of stress. Like, how do you personally, handle all this stress?
Oh, you have to vent it out.
Just
Yeah, but find the right person. Find the right person. Because, for example, there's a lot of things I don't share with my family because they don't understand. When you are trying to complain about a situations, when you try to say why you struggle with this, they just don't understand. Because they don't even know what that role should work.
Yep.
Yeah, what is that all about? And for them, they will see as, it's just a small potato, What makes you so stressed? So we find the right person to talk to. So sometimes it can be your superior, sometimes it can be your peers at the same level. You try to find the right person, and there's nothing much you can do. It's just to say it out only. Just want to make sure you are being heard. Just like I say, I want my colleagues, whatever they are struggle with, I'm here to listen. So same thing. I need someone to listen to what I have in my, my heart, right? So that's why I will find the right person to talk to. So whenever we feel stressed, then we will exchange
stress.
Then we realize that, oh, okay, after you said it out, life still goes on.
We feel better.
Your work still need to, carry on.
Yeah.
So then, but you feel better. At least you clear something, and then, okay, the next day you can put in more. And then you try to release some, and then continue to digest.
Good to go.
Correct. But of course, at the same time, I will also make sure I have enough me time. Like I said, I am the person who appreciate me time. If let's say during the working day, I do not have enough me time, then my weekends will be totally just stay at home.
Okay.
Lie on bed or lie on sofa, just all kinds of lying positions, But try to just go through like some songs, or short video clips. Yeah, then it will makes me feel a bit happy. It's like my brain can stop, digesting things about work. Sometimes you just can't stop your brain from thinking about work. So I can only do all this by stopping myself. Think too much, And then of course, if my like my husband will bring me go for hiking, go for some outdoor challenging.
Do you like that?
Yes or no. When it's too frequent, then maybe no. When it's shorter distance, yes, maybe yes.
Yeah, can try lah.
Yeah, can try. But sometimes if it's too hardcore, then of course he will scare me away. Yeah, but we have went for a few.
All right.
And every time it's the moment that before you hike, right, you feel so stressed. You feel like
so
mission
long.
impossible. But when you when you successfully complete it and you feel very
accomplished.
It's very, very happy, you can break through. Then you will realize that the all kinds of up and down, slippery, all this challenge I have gone through. So work is just about, it's something that I have been working for every day. So it couldn't be like more tough than go for hiking.
Just curious, would your husband give you a heads up like, okay, this is gonna be a tough one?
No, never.
So he just bring you?
Never. So that is what I got tripped, for the first 2-3 rounds. But after that, then I learned to survey first.
Right.
So he will just review, okay, where are we going?
Oh, okay.
So then I will actually do my own research.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll find all kinds of video clips to see what is all the conditions, the elevations gain, all this, and then start to learn and assess whether I can do that. Yeah, then I learn how to say no to him. Sometimes I know that he just want to have someone to accompany. So whenever I can, I'll tell him that I'll do so. But if let's say I really feel I can't, then halfway I have to go. Yeah, but you have your options to continue, complete it. I'll wait you in the car or you follow me.
Right.
But doesn't mean that I don't challenge myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, or another way will be like, I am 100% I can't do so. Yeah. So why not I send you there? Yeah. Then you enjoy your moments because you can do faster, much faster without me. Right? So it doesn't need to wait for me.
Right.
You can complete very soon and I will just wait you at one of the shop or whatever. So we find ourselves a few ways, to get to work things out. Yeah, to also spend time with each other, but we don't force each other to do something if we think
not
this is
comfortable.
something that is too much.
So usually during like your hiking or during your me time with your husband, you don't really talk about work stuff.
Once a while. Otherwise, then he will have a misunderstanding thought that my work, everything is very happy. Or I totally have no stress about work. Yeah, so once a while we will share. but not a very detailed one.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's also not that person who loved to listen to long grandmother stories. but he will just need to know a small little piece of it. Yeah, so at least he feel me. He will also know that why when we are home, he needs to grant me more me time.
Right.
You know, so I think it's both way.
Yeah.
When he feels that, I'll also give him more me time.
Me time. I guess spending time together doesn't mean that you have to exchange or what you have at work or like what you do, blah, blah, blah. I think it's more like just being in the same room and just do your own thing is still being together.
Yes.
So whatever that's comfortable for each other, I think that's the best way. So I think we come to the last question. Joey, can you give some advice to like young people or maybe people who are going into a leadership role?
I think that, you know, not everybody is born to be a leader, you know, since young. So we just need to know that first thing to lead, you know, leader is not about you do the work, you have the best ability, you know, best skill and knowledge to perform that work well. So it's not about you. It's more about how you lead the team members and we all work together. Everyone feel happy, feel the trust to have that bonding and then we can achieve better. So I think this is something that is very important. You must fix it right. So, you know, leaders is not about you standing at the top. You know, everyone just listen to you. Yeah, listen to your instructions and so on. Not really. It's just that you can have the ability to guide people, give people some directions so that they can save a lot of time making lesser mistakes. Yeah, have clearer pictures, how to achieve things faster. So I think active listen. So yeah, active listen means you must listen the right thing lah. You don't go and pick the wrong message, you know. Yeah, so active listen and digest it and give them something good in return. So, but not every time like just hide everything about their weaknesses. We should let them know because not a lot of people can observe their own mistake. So that's why they need someone to tell them what's wrong with me. Can you share with me? But in a nicer way. Yeah, so then communicate well. Allow them to have a space to express themselves when they feel not right or whatnot. Sometimes their performance is declined doesn't mean that, you know, they are not capable to do so. Maybe they are suffering with something. Something is bothering them. So we just need to understand them more. So give them a space to share how they feel, to also share their proposal, their ideas, even though they know that maybe it will be rejected. Yeah, but at least you let them have a chance. An opportunity is very important. Yeah, so I'm still learning to be a leader, you know, so that's why I'm a bit hesitant to talk about this topic is because, you know, I don't think I deserve to sit here to talk about leaders, you know, because just like you, we need the acknowledgements. We need someone to tell us that, oh, you are a good leader, you know. It's not that I want that praise, you know, I want that pride. It's more of acknowledge that, oh, I'm doing something right and people find me as someone who are good. So I think, you know, if everyone have the time, let's just read the book by Prof. Muhammad Yunus. He wrote a book about a world of 3 zeros. So how a great leader where you doesn't need to work with him, but he will be able to contribute and help, you know, the at least his country or even wider, you know, places where people can then through this mechanism, they can actually achieve zero poverty, zero unemployment, and zero net carbon emission. I think that is really a great leader showing you a good example. And you doesn't need to work under him, but you will feel his leadership, you know, his great mind strategy. So it's something that is good to read. So someone who are exploring, wondering how to be a good leader, perhaps pick up the book.
Yeah, I think I'll definitely pick up after that. Thank you, Joey, for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.